Now that Arizona's strict illegal immigration law is reality, what comes next? Comprehensive reform on the federal level was one of President Obama's major campaign promises, but Arizona Governor Jan Brewer said time was up. Listen.
We in Arizona have been more than patient waiting for Washington to act. But decades of federal inaction and misguided policy have created a dangerous and unacceptable situation.
So will the White House now push to get a national immigration bill passed smack dab in the middle of an election year? We'll talk about that now with Republican strategist Leslie Sanchez, also syndicated columnist and CNN contributor Miguel Perez, and Mark Halperin, Time Magazine senior political analyst, joining us as well. Leslie, let me start with you here. You were at an RNC meeting, I know, with Hispanic elected officials this afternoon. What was the reaction in the room when it was clear to everybody that the governor was going to sign this?
Yeah, no, we definitely got the CNN breaking news alert. I will tell you, it felt like a collective punch in the stomach to many of these Hispanic Republicans who were there. These are folks who have been working very hard within the Republican Party as elected officials to build the base and build the support. And it's not because immigration is the top issue, top of mind issue for Latinos, as much as it is we fear that the rhetoric around this debate is going to make it look as if it's anti-Latino and it's coming from Republicans. That's not the case. The case here, you have a state of Arizona that's been in a state of emergency, that needs action on the federal level, and has taken an extreme measure that is a very poor choice.
Hey, Mark, Leslie may be against this. The Republicans she was with today may be against this, but you know who wasn't? John McCain. And what a turnaround that is from somebody who championed immigration reform.
Nothing more symbols the state of the Republican Party and the state of John McCain than his position on this. You cannot do immigration reform at the national level without it being bipartisan. President Bush knew that. Senator McCain knew it. The reason why I think the White House doesn't plan to push this year and recognizes it would be folly to push it is because the Republican Party right now is largely captive to forces who are totally opposed to the kind of quote-unquote comprehensive reform that President Obama and Democratic leaders would insist on. It's an absolute loggerheads, and I don't think it can be broken before the election.
But did those, is the party really divided, or is it really dominated by the Tea Party people who are clearly in support of this?
The action and the energy is dominated by the Tea Party movement and other conservatives, and it would require, to get this done, would require a lot of Republicans in Washington to stand up to that wing of the party that has all the energy and say, you know what, this is in the best interest of the country, not just to pursue the kind of reform that the president wants, but to work with the president. That is something hard to do on any issue. On this issue, such an emotional issue, I just don't see it anytime soon.
Miguel, should the president, I mean, he spoke out today, but it was kind of the 11th hour. I mean, did you want to hear from him on this a lot sooner, frankly?
Absolutely. I think the president has waited too long. I think he should have already sent the Justice Department to Arizona to investigate what's going on there. It's a clear violation of my constitutional rights. As you know, Campbell, I have an accent. What's going to happen to me when I go to Arizona in the future? If I dress down and I hang out in a Hispanic neighborhood somewhere, could I be arrested, put under suspicion of being an undocumented immigrant just because I have an accent? This is what's likely to happen in Arizona. Am I going to need a passport to travel to one of the 50 states of the union from now on? This is a violation of my civil rights as an American citizen. I'm a legal American citizen, and there's a lot of legal citizens around the country, immigrants around the country right now, who are threatened by this. Why? Because it's they're targeting not illegal immigrants anymore. They're going after legal immigrants with this.
With the requirements it has. Go ahead, Leslie, sorry.
Well, you know the fearful part is, yes, we don't want to be at the point of, stop and show us your papers. I think that's the extreme argument that some are going to make, and that's the part that people fear. But let's look at this.
But you can do that in this, given what this bill calls for and lays out. I mean, that's legal now.
Right, and this is a measure that was pushed before. Let's not forget what the crisis is. Along the border, especially in Arizona, there is an extreme crisis. Don't forget there was a state of emergency declared by then Governor Napolitano, by Governor Bill Richardson, talking about the need to seal the border, to do something about the immigration issue. The positive side of this, at least it's back on the agenda to talk about it. The president said it was going to be a priority. You're seeing from the Hispanic groups, the Hispanic caucus, There's frustration. He did not make it such. And I think the president has bunted the ball. He pushed it over to Speaker Pelosi. She said she pushed it over to the Senate and Harry Reid. Harry Reid can pass a bailout and TARP. He can certainly do something for the working folks and find a solution for this immigration reform plan to stop the crisis in these border states.
Mark, Leslie mentioned Harry Reid. I mean, he did say that he wants to push it to the top of the agenda prior to the midterms. Is that just, you know, campaign BS?
Well, I think he has problems back home. He needs a large Hispanic turnout in order to hold his Senate seat. So I don't normally like to project motives onto people, but I think Senator Reid is thinking about his home state. And I also think that there is a sentiment amongst the Democrats in Congress that this is an important thing to do, even if they fail. The White House disagrees. The White House thinks it's inevitable that it would fail this year. As much as the president cares about the issue, the votes just aren't there. They don't see the point of getting the worst of both worlds, pushing on immigration in a way that will inflame the right and not getting a comprehensive law.
And is he going to pay a price for that?
Harry Reid, I just wrote a column saying, say adios to Harry. Because, again, he goes back and forth.
But also the president.
Oh, absolutely. But he has more time. See, Harry Reid is the example now. In Nevada, Latino voters can express their anger by taking it out on Harry Reid in the midterm elections. And that's likely to happen now. Because, I mean, you know, he really needs the Hispanic vote in his state. He also needs to bring in Democrats who are against immigration reform. It's not just the Republicans. There are Democrats who are against immigration reform. And so Harry Reid is caught in the middle. He has to bring in these people, right. And he's making all kinds of promises to the Hispanic community, just like the president. So what I said in my column is, look, we have some time. The president, I agree with you. This is not going to happen this year. It's definitely not going to happen this year. But we have to start putting pressure on Obama to start doing something before he runs for re-election in 2010,
guys,
2012.
Leslie, we're out of time. Thank you very much, Leslie Sanchez, Mark Capron, Miguel. Good to have you here as well. Appreciate it. Coming up tonight, we are also going to show you why Reverend Franklin Graham's comments to me on this program helped get him disinvited from an appearance at the Pentagon. And that's not the only story this week that has us asking, is America a Christian nation? That when we come back.